Hi Year 2, welcome to our next reading lesson. Before we start, I've got a couple of questions for you. Firstly, what is the title of our new book? Tell me through the computer. That's it, Grandma and the Leopard. What kind of text is this? I want you to think for a second. You can pause the video if you need to. This is a fiction text. That means that it is a make-believe story. What would it be if it was not a make-believe story and it was real? Tell me through the computer. A non-fiction text. Well done. Okay, now let's begin by reviewing our vocabulary. I would like you to pause the video and see if you can connect in your heads what key word links to the definition. Pause me, and when you're ready, press play. Okay, our first one, chase, is when we run after someone. The second one, yelp, is when we let out a little shout or cry. Snarl is to growl and show your teeth. Refuse is to decide not to do something, and mischievous is to be cheeky. Good job, Year 2. We're now going to read the text by playing Jump In. Remember to look out for our 5 new vocabulary words.
Chapter 1, Grandma's Scary Story. One day, Ava's grandma told her a scary story. Once when I was a little girl in Africa, whispered Grandma, I was walking to school one day. I looked into the bush and saw 2 eyes staring straight at me. They glowed like golden fire. I saw sharp white teeth and I heard a low growl. Grr. Oh no, said Ava nervously. What was it? It was a huge leopard, Grandma replied. I had never seen one before. It crouched down, ready to pounce. I started to run, but it leaped out of the bush and chased after me. I bet you ran fast, gasped Ava. Yes, said Grandma, I ran like the wind, but it was right behind me and I could almost feel its hot breath on my neck. And then, don't tell me any more, Ava yelped. But this story has a happy ending, said Grandma. I escaped from that leopard. Don't you want to know how? But Ava couldn't hear because she had her hands over her ears. The next day, Ava couldn't get Grandma's story out of her mind. Is that hot leopard breath on my neck? She thought. She spun around. There was nothing there. She cried out, I can see golden eyes in that bush. But when she looked again, it was just 2 scraps of golden paper glittering in the sun. Stop imagining things, Ava told herself. There are no leopards in this country. Chapter 2, A Leopard is Chasing Me. Ava's little sister was called Elsie. That night, Elsie was too excited to sleep. Tomorrow was her very first day at school. Tell me a story, Ava, she begged. There was only one story in Ava's head, the one that Grandma had told her. Ava told Elsie about the leopard that chased Grandma. Elsie listened to the story and got more and more Frightened, she hid under the bed covers. "Help!" she yelled. "A scary leopard is chasing me." In the middle of the night, a strange sound woke Ava. "What's that noise?" she wondered. It was Elsie, whimpering with fear. She was looking at something in the dark room. "Is that a leopard coming to get me?" she asked. "No, don't be silly," said Ava. "That's just my dressing gown hanging on the door. Go back to sleep." But the next morning, Elsie was still frightened. "I'm not going to school," Elsie said firmly. "A scary leopard might get me on the way." "Oh no," thought Ava, feeling worried. "If she won't go to school, Dad will get cross and I'll get into trouble." Somehow she had to find a way to stop Elsie being scared of leopards. Chapter 3. Little sisters are a big pain. After breakfast, Dad called out, "Girls, it's time to walk to school," but Elsie hid under the table and wouldn't come out. "I told you there are no leopards around here," said Ava. "One might have to come here in an aeroplane," said Elsie. Ava sighed. "What else can I say?" she thought. Suddenly, a brilliant idea whooshed into her head. It lit up her brain like fireworks. She told Elsie Grandma was wrong. The leopard had chased her, didn't want to hurt her. It just wanted to be her friend. "Are you sure leopards like making friends?" asked Elsie. "Yes," said Ava quickly. "Leopards are lovely." Elsie thought for a moment. "All right then," she said. "I'll go to school." "Phew," Ava sighed. But when they were walking to school, Elsie suddenly shrieked. "I heard something growling. It must be a leopard." "Shh," said Ava, hoping Dad hadn't heard. "It's just a little dog, but remember, if you do want to meet a leopard, it won't hurt you. It just wants to be your friend." They were nearly at school when Elsie cried out again. "I can feel a leopard breathing on my neck." "It isn't leopard breath, it's just a warm breeze," snapped Ava, who was getting fed up with this whole leopard business. They finally reached the school gates without any more trouble. Ava said to herself, "Phew, I didn't think we'd make it. Little sisters are a big pain." Chapter 4. Grandma to the Rescue. It was nearly home time. Ava was in her classroom when the head teacher knocked and came in. "Can Ava please go to reception class right away?" she asked Ava's teacher. "Elsie needs her help." What now? When Ava got there, Elsie's teacher was looking worried. "Elsie has shut herself in the cupboard," she told Ava. "She doesn't want to go home." Ava went to the cupboard. "Elsie, it's me, Ava," she called as she opened the door. "What's the matter? This morning you didn't want to go to school and now you don't want to go home." I might meet a leopard on the way, whispered Elsie from inside the cupboard. You were wrong about leopards, Ava. They don't want to be friends. They want to gobble you up. Who told you that? Said Ava. A book told me, replied Elsie. Oh dear, said the teacher. I know which book that is. She took a book from her shelf. There was a picture inside it of a snarling leopard with fierce golden eyes and teeth as sharp as knives. Ava thought, no wonder Elsie got scared. But how could she get her little sister out of the cupboard? Then she had an idea. Ava turned to Elsie's teacher. Please can I call my grandma? Ava explained everything to Grandma. Don't worry, I'm on my way, said Grandma. When Grandma arrived at the school, she was carrying lots of pots and pans. Ava was amazed. Why did you bring those? She asked. You didn't hear the end of my story, did you? Laughed Grandma. When my friends saw the leopard chasing me, they came rushing out of the school with pots and pans. They made a terrible noise and scared the leopard away. Grandma went over to the cupboard. Elsie, this is Grandma, she said. We're going to scare that leopard away. Just listen. Clash. Bash. At last, Grandma and Ava stopped. Grandma bent down to Elsie. It's all right to come out now, she told Elsie. We've scared that naughty leopard away. Thanks for coming to the rescue, Grandma, grinned Ava, giving her a big hug. You're the best. Chapter 5. Ava to the rescue. The next day, Ava thought her little sister's troubles were over, but she was wrong. Dad asked Ava, will you walk Elsie to school this morning? But Elsie refused. I'm not going. What if I see a leopard? You will scare it away like Grandma did yesterday, or will you? Ava groaned. This leopard thing is getting ridiculous. But she could see her little sister wasn't going to give in. What could she do? She thought hard. Later, Ava walked to school holding Elsie's hands. Ava's friends asked, why are you carrying all those pots and pans? Well, replied Ava with a mischievous smile, it all started when Grandma got chased by a leopard.
Okay, we're going to look at an example literal question together from our text. Now you'll notice in each of your questions today, you have whether it's in paragraph 1, 2, 3 or 4. This shows you where on the page you need to look. The first paragraph or the first chunk of writing is paragraph 1. Let's look at our question. Where did Elsie hide when it was time for school? Now I need to follow my steps to success to answer this. Step 1, read the question. Where did Elsie hide when it was time for school? Step number 2, underline the key words. Where did Elsie hide when it was time for school? When it was time for school. find the evidence. So I know I need to look in paragraph 1, which is what I've got here. Now, after breakfast, Dad called out, "Girls, it's time to walk to school." It's time for school. But Elsie, that's who I'm looking for, hid, that's what she was doing, under the table. That's where. And she wouldn't come out. Reread the question. Have I answered it? Where did Elsie hide when it was time for school? Elsie hid under the table. That is my answer. Now, do I want to be answering in full sentences? Absolutely, I do. I need to have a capital letter for Elsie for 2 reasons. One, because it is the beginning of a sentence, and also because it's what kind of noun? It is a proper noun. Okay, so my answer is Elsie hid under the table. I can literally write, this is what I mean to be literal, what I see in the text as my answer. How I made it a full sentence? Capital letter and full stop. And that's what I would like you to do as well. I've done my 4th step and I've answered it. Now it's your turn and your independent task. Remember, as you look at each question, it will tell you where to look for the answers in which paragraph. And you have a challenge at the bottom, which is to create and answer your own literal questions. Keep the screen up so that you can see the steps of success and follow them for each answer. Good luck, Year 2, and see you tomorrow.